So I am a lot closer now to moving to the US than I've ever been. My girlfriend has warmed up to the idea. So now we're looking at potential states. I'm looking at the kind of jobs I can get out there. We're a lot closer. So when I see a video like this across my feed, I think it's probably in my best interest to see it, because why would people be avoiding moving to these states? I mean, what's wrong with these states? Because I'm sure on this list, there's going to be a lot of big names, but why? Like, is there something happening in 2026 that's causing these states to be really unattractive? What's going on there?
Moving to a new state always looks great online. The houses are affordable, the scenery is beautiful, and apparently everyone there spends their weekends kayaking with golden retrievers. Then you move in. That's when you discover why people are leaving or why it's so cheap. Basically, you discover that the state sort of sucks. So we ran a survey. We asked people, what states would you love to move to and which states would you never move to? Today, we're looking at the results of the never move to states. Let's take a look. Number 10, Alaska. Now, I totally see Alaska as being one that people wouldn't want to move to. I mean,
quite isolated, isn't it, Alaska?
you got to be a different breed of cat to want to move to Alaska. Alaska is less a relocation spot and more an expedition requiring employment, planning, and several coats. Believe it or not, Alaska ranks as one of the most expensive states for everyday living. Food, building materials, travel, utilities, and repairs can cost substantially more because of distance. You know, down here where you got a bunch of states connected together, it's a lot easier to get supplies and people back and forth from state to state. On top of all that, the state only has a few significant employment centers. If you have any kind of specialized medical care you may need, you got some traveling to do. I mean, you're not gonna have to come down to the lower 48, but you're definitely gonna have to make it to Anchorage for some of the more specialized care. If you're one of those hardy people that decide you wanna move out to the Alaskan outback, well, there's some other problems besides being eaten by a grizzly bear. Thawing
Oh my God, look how many grizzly bears there are.
permafrost can damage more than remote wilderness. It can affect roads, foundations, utilities, airports, barge landings, and access routes. Buyers need to investigate the ground beneath the property, not merely admire the mountain behind it. Of the just over 4,000 votes, Alaska got 79.
I mean, to be fair, Alaska, I'd love to visit. I really want to visit, but live there, probably not. Just a bit too isolated for me. I guess it'd be fun to go and hang out for like a few weeks though.
Number 9, Arkansas. Arkansas is a strange state. Now, I'm going to talk bad about it, but I'm not talking about the northwest section of the state because that is totally different from the rest of Arkansas. That portion of the state actually functions properly like most states. The rest of the state is a hot mess. It's the type of state you move to when you're trying to avoid like a crazy ex or something like that, or a stalker, because they're not going to follow you into Little Rock or Pine Bluff or some other little boondock town where the average educational attainment is 8th grade. That being said, Arkansas offers beautiful scenery and affordable housing, but newcomers should examine what that low price includes. More importantly, what it doesn't include. Like, Arkansas ranks among the 5 lowest performing healthcare systems in the country. And their poverty rate is almost as bad as Kentucky. It's 15.5% of their population living below the poverty line. Rural areas offer limited job diversity and longer trips for specialized services, like a lot of these places. If you move there, it is affordable for the most part, but affordable living becomes less impressive when wages and services are also shopping in the discount aisle. Arkansas is one of those states on my never move to list. I've been there a handful of times in my life, and one time I went there for the military. We did some little war game thing with the Arkansas National Guard. It's hard to describe their National Guard. Years after getting out of the Army, my kids were watching a cartoon called Ed, Edd, and Eddy. And I was like, oh my...
I used to love this show on Cartoon Network. Did any of you guys watch this? So good.
My God, it's the Arkansas National Guard. Arkansas got 181 votes. Number 8.
Arkansas sounds like a state that if you can get a remote job, like a job that's fully remote, that pays well, you could do really well there because you could save so much money. But the chances of me getting a job, you know, that's fully remote, that never requires me to go into the office, is probably quite low.
West Virginia, I gotta tell you, I'm a little impressed here. I thought West Virginia would be further down on this list as places people wouldn't move to, but I guess all that stunning natural beauty sort of make you ignore some of the things you should probably be paying attention to if you're thinking about moving to West Virginia. But West Virginia is affordable and spectacular, but its demographic and economic problems have been building for decades. I think they've plateaued. It's really hard to get much worse than they've been over the last 10 years, but you never know. The state also ranks among the 5 weakest healthcare systems. West Virginia's avoidable premature death rate is more than twice the national average. For almost 10 years straight, they've seen more deaths than births in West Virginia, which is playing a big part in...
Oh my God, so more people are dying than they're being born in West Virginia. That is scary. What's going on there?
Their decreasing population. They did have a little bump in their population in the 2010 census, but I think that's because everyone found out it was easy to get opioids at the time and all the junkies headed to West Virginia. Then Portland decided to legalize all that stuff and they came here. Yay! They also have a poverty rate of 15%, and many communities have limited job diversity, aging infrastructure, and a shrinking tax base. So things will just get worse. West Virginia got 224 votes. Number 7, New Mexico. New Mexico has remarkable landscapes and culture, but its economic and demographic numbers are waving several red flags, and the state government seems to have started waving a white flag. New Mexico was one of only 5 states that lost population in 2025. Its poverty rate also is in the 15s. It's 15.5, and their unemployment rate in June of 2026 was 4.8%, which is above the national average. New Mexico has a lot of problems, and it's like the poverty, it's the drugs, it's the violent crime rate, and they got a really low tax base. Kind of hard to tax a bunch of people that can barely feed themselves, When that happens, you start cutting back on things like police, and then your crime rates go up. One thing leads to another, and really crappy states start saying stuff like, well, at least we ain't New Mexico. New Mexico got 241 votes.
Damn, that's a shame. I've always wanted to visit New Mexico. Ever since I watched that show Breaking Bad, which is set in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I've always wanted to go. I'll still visit, but maybe living there isn't the best choice. But if any of you guys are from any of these cities and states, let me know if you disagree.
Of 4,000. Number 6, Mississippi. Mississippi's housing can look incredibly affordable until you ask why it remains so incredibly affordable. And it is the cheapest state to buy a house right now.
Really?
And actually, since the 1880s, it's been that way.
How much can you buy a good, would be a good house? A nice 3-bed, 2-bath house in fairly new condition. How much are we talking in Mississippi?
I mean, if Mississippi is one thing, it is consistent. It consistently gets bad grades when it comes to school, healthcare, and dental work. You know why so many murders go unsolved in Mississippi? Nobody's got teeth. It ain't that bad, but it's pretty close. In 2024, Mississippi's poverty rate was 17.8%. That was the highest in the United States. In 2025, it dropped all the way down to 16.9. And a majority of this is going on in the rural communities. Many rural communities struggle with healthcare access, limited employment options, and educational attainment. Cheap housing in Mississippi doesn't necessarily help when local wages, services, and economic opportunities are this low. So you're saying, well, at least it's cheap. You got, it's give and take. Well, yeah, your money may stretch further, but your career may have nowhere interesting to stretch. I mean, we've all been watching these videos long enough. Everybody knows Mississippi is just not that good at being a state. I'm just really surprised that they're number 6 and not number 1. Mississippi got 304 votes.
I'm going to check how much a house is, because I mean, if the houses are dirt cheap, even though all of the stuff he talked about might be valid, if you can get a really nice house for 50 grand, that's kind of hard to ignore, isn't it?
5, Oklahoma. Oklahoma looks like one of the last places where a regular person can still afford a decent house without running a Ponzi scheme or starting a podcast about passive income. The problem is that the cheap mortgage can be followed by brutal insurance costs, severe weather, weaker healthcare access, and job markets that can feel pretty thin outside larger cities. It ranks right up there with Mississippi in affordability. Sadly, it also ranks up there with some of the negatives too. And it's not just Florida with the high high insurance costs because of hurricanes, or California with the wildfires. Oklahoma's right up there for homeowners insurance.
Oh yeah, tornadoes, right? Tornado Alley. I think Oklahoma's in Tornado Alley.
Severe storms, tornadoes, and hail contribute to frequent and expensive claims. It's one of the weakest states for healthcare, and they've got a high local sales tax that quietly eats away at the affordability you move to Oklahoma for. They've got a lot of things that sneak up on you once you move there. I mean, a lot of people are moving to Oklahoma right now. People really have always moved to Oklahoma. It's like the fresh start state. The last time they had a down population was 1950, 1940 also. But those are the only two census where they actually lost people, which is mind-blowing when you know what kind of condition this state's in. 365 people said they would not move to Oklahoma.
I thought that Oklahoma was like an oil-rich state. There's like a really big booming oil and gas industry in Oklahoma. Or maybe I'm confusing it with another state, but I'm pretty sure it was Oklahoma.
Number 4, Florida. Gotta admit, kind of surprised. A few years ago, they wouldn't have made this list. I think in the last 2 years, things have kind of shifted for Florida, and it's kind of turning people off. Florida remains popular, but the affordable retirement paradise has been disappearing beneath insurance paperwork, condo assessments, and rapidly rising costs. Homeowners insurance for standard coverage averages roughly $5,838 annually in Florida right now, depending on the month, but they're always in the top 5 for the highest insurance rates.
But the beaches, though, look at this beach. It's so pretty.
Housing costs have risen much faster than local wages in several metro areas. Storm risks bring high deductibles, flood coverage, and expensive repairs. And of course, their unemployment in June of 2026 was above average at 4.7%. The unemployment rate in June for the United States, the average was 4.1%. No state income tax is helpful, but it doesn't pay the insurance premiums, HOA fees, that roof assessment, or the air conditioning bill. Florida got 372 votes out of 4,000.
I'm really surprised. Like Florida, like it's such a popular state, famous cities. I would never have guessed people would be avoiding moving to Florida. It was one of the states that I was really considering moving to.
Number 3, New York State. New York offers opportunity, culture, healthcare, and some surprisingly affordable rural communities. The trouble is, the state's financial appetite travels well beyond Manhattan. This is a state that likes to tax everything. New York ranks 50th in tax competitiveness, meaning they're the absolute worst. I thought New Jersey was, but according to the National Tax Foundation, it's New York. It currently has one of the highest effective property tax burdens in the nation. Statewide, the cost of living remains substantially above average, and the population growth was only 0.01% in 2025.
But aren't the salaries in New York really good to compensate for the cost of living? Like, I think I saw somewhere that New York offers like either the highest or like top 3 highest salaries in America.
This is a state that always grew in double digits. Most of that growth comes from New York City. I mean, that place has been a human being magnet for centuries. From 1698 to the 1930 census, they grew double or triple digits.
Wow.
Then it went down to single digits. And in 1960, they had their first drop in population, losing 1.4% of their population.
Wow.
They got it back in 1970 with almost identical improvement. And then in 1980, they lost 10% of their population. That is a brutal number for a state. Well, then they kind of went on their normal ways of growing again, slightly single digits, but since 2020, they've lost 2.5% of their population. There's been a shift in the matrix because a few of the states that have always grown have been losing population since 2020. But New York's problem gets traced back to the taxes and the affordability. You may not be paying crazy rents in upstate compared to New York City, but taxes, heating costs, and limited local employment can spoil that bargain. New York got 426 votes.
I mean, I'm surprised because if you work in like a finance job or something, I would have thought New York would be a really attractive, prospect. But maybe it's just super expensive.
Number 2, Louisiana. Louisiana has unmatched culture, music, food, and hospitality. Unfortunately, charm can't repair drainage systems or bring down crime rates. And trust me, they got some serious crime rates. Louisiana had America's highest state poverty rate in 2024 at 18.7%. That is a brutal number. I mean, you'll find small towns and some of the major metro areas in the United States where they have 25% or 28% poverty. But for a whole state to be averaging 18.7% is crazy.
Yeah, that's really
This
bad.
is a state that is like under attack all the time from Mother Nature, whether it's flooding, hurricanes, or whatever else Mother Nature decides to hit Louisiana with next. And that helps compound their problems with poverty, infrastructure, insurance premiums, like so many Gulf and Atlantic states are dealing with right now because of hurricanes. They're getting worse. If you're one of the people that wants to move to Louisiana, I would definitely do my research first. New Orleans looks amazing on paper. I suggest you go there during the summer. Go there during Mardi Gras. Go there during festival. Go there on Tuesday. It's a city with incredible history and amazing things. It's just, in my opinion, kind of a trashy city. I've been there 3 times in the last 4 years, I think. Went there quite a few times in the 90s, once in the 2000s. I've been there enough. I've never lived there, but just visiting it, you're like, I would never live here. But it's a good place to go have a good time. They also have some of the worst cities in the United States. Besides New Orleans, they got Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and a few others that are just horrible places to visit. I've mentioned this before, but there was a guy that said the only reason anyone ever goes to Shreveport anymore is because they got a court date. Louisiana.
Oh my God. That is brutal. I mean, I'm so surprised by this. Louisiana is like this high on the list. I didn't even think it would even be on the list.
They got 449 votes.
Because it shows what I know.
All right.
What do we think number 1 will be? Oh, surely not Texas. Surely not.
Before we get to number 1, if you could hit that like button, it would be much appreciated. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, California. Yes, all you people that watch cable news, this is your time to shine. Leave your best comments in there and make sure it's a good one. Use your imagination. Go beyond the average stuff. Don't say California or liberal hellhole.
California. These nicknames.
Be original. We want to see something decent in the comment section. California remains an economic powerhouse with extraordinary weather, universities, industries, and scenery. For the average person attempting to relocate there in 2027, however, the numbers resemble a financial escape room. California's cost of living is roughly 43% above the national average. Its housing cost index is approximately double the national average, and the median gross rent was the highest of any state in the latest census-based comparison. California lost nearly 230,000 residents through domestic migration in 2025. So tons of people have just had enough of the high cost of living.
Wow.
And that's what it is. High cost of living and housing is just incredibly bad there.
So those are the main 2 reasons why people are moving out. And those would affect me, to be fair. Like, if I wanted to live there, I'd have to pay to live there. Man, how much? So it's just unaffordable. Like, even if you're on a pretty decent salary, let's say you're making 120,000 US, that's not enough to live in California.
Their major cities have tons of homeless, not as much crime as you'd expect, but it's there. And their homeless population helps raise their unemployment rate. In June of 2026, it was 5.2%. If that's not bad enough to turn you off of California, the state ranked 48th in tax competitiveness and has the country's highest top individual tax rate. Even an incredible salary can arrive in California and immediately develop low self-esteem. All that being said, California has a lot of positives. I mean, all states have a lot of positives. It's just the cost of living is crazy and the homeless situation is insane.
Yeah,
but it still has the best weather, the most diverse landscape, and has some of the best cities in the nation. Or at least one point they were. California got 512 votes.
Shocking.
I thought they would have got more. All right, so what have we learned? The real issue isn't politics or geography. Some states cost a fortune, but at least you get decent services for the money. Others are cheap because the pay is either lousy, healthcare is hard to find, or jobs are hiding in some other state. Worst places to move are the ones where all those problems pile up at once, creating a financial Jenga tower held together by tourism ads, low rent, and a suspicious amount of optimism.
Man, where do I move to then? I think this was a good idea watching this because I don't really know that much about the US. Like, I've been on holiday there a few times, but I couldn't tell you which states are doing well, which states are doing badly. I really rely on you guys and videos like this, because I would have thought California would be one of the top states to move to. I had no idea that it was just so unaffordable. Like, the taxes, I had no clue. Same with New York. I would have thought New York, so many people leave the UK to want to go and work in New York if they're young professionals. So many people, like my younger brother, he wants to move to New York. But so I would have thought, yeah, great candidate for me, you know, but apparently not. I think I need you guys' help. You know, where would you move to? Like, let's say you're early 30s guy, you know, you want to live somewhere that's fun, but, you know, relatively affordable, good population size so that you can meet new people easily. You know, where would you move to? What would you do? Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And if you did, check out this video right here and hit the join button below. See you there.